In the history of boxing, there have been stories of triumph, tales of rising from rags to riches, but there have also been stories of tragedy, ones that leave a bitter taste in the mouth of fans and lovers of the sport. One such story is the fight between South Korean boxer Dubski Kim and renowned Italian-American fighter Ray Mancini. What was supposed to be a regular title fight turned into one of the most unforgettable moments in boxing history, with an aftermath filled with sadness, changing many lives in the sport of boxing forever. The 1980s were an incredibly successful time for boxing, maybe even the best ever. It was a rare period when the sport was super popular and seen as mainstream entertainment. Big name champions like Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvelous Marvin Hagler had become huge stars, and right alongside them was Ray Mancini. Mancini's father, Lenny Mancini, also known as Boom Boom, a nickname the younger Mancini would inherit, was a top-ranked contender during the 1940s. However, Lenny Mancini's dream of becoming a world champion was dashed when he was wounded during World War II. Inspired by his father, Lenny, Ray Mancini took up boxing. Conquest after conquest, Mancini worked his way up through the ranks. He secured his first NABF lightweight title against George Morales in May 1981. Just 2 months later, he successfully defended his title against the seasoned Mexican fighter, Jose Luis Ramirez. Then in October of the same year, Mancini fought for his first world title against the experienced Nicaraguan veteran, Alexis Arguello, who held the WBC and the ring lightweight belts. Though the fight ended in defeat, Mancini's exceptional performance hinted at what lay ahead. 6 months later, in May of 1982, another title opportunity came. Mancini would face Arturo Frias for the WBA lightweight title. This time, he didn't falter. Mancini stopped Arturo in the opening round to become the WBA lightweight champion of the world. After knocking out Ernesto España in his first title defense, the next official contender for Mancini's world title was the South Korean boxer Dubski Kim. Dubski Kim was born on July 29, 1955 in Gangwon Province, South Korea. Growing up was tough for Kim. He lived in a household of poverty where the family struggled to eat and could barely afford tuition. Adding to his troubles, Kim didn't get along with his classmates, frequently getting into fights that ended with teachers publicly shaming him by pinning letters to his shirt and parading him around the school. At the age of 14, Kim left his hometown and made his way to Seoul. Life in Seoul was tough. To survive, Kim took up various odd jobs, including peddling, shoe shining, and even working in a bakery. At the same time, he lived under a bridge and survived on crackers. However, it wasn't until he stumbled upon the Dong-Ah boxing gym that he discovered a place where he could channel his anger and ambition. Kim started boxing at the age of 21 in 1976. In 1978, after achieving a 29-4 record as an amateur, he turned professional. Kim found success on the professional scene. By February 1982, he had won the Orient and Pacific Boxing Federation lightweight title and had a record of 17 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, with 8 of his wins by knockout. Kim became the #1 contender for Mancini's lightweight title. The bout was set in Las Vegas and would be Kim's first fight outside of Asia. Heading into the fight, Mancini was regarded as the overwhelming favorite. Although Kim was seen as the underdog by most, Mancini never underestimated him. While everyone else thought it would be an easy victory, Mancini prepared for war. Kim weighed in at just over 134 pounds, half a pound lighter than Mancini, but both fighters appeared ready to endure and dish out pain without hesitation. Mancini and Kim faced off in an arena outside of Caesar's Palace on November 13, 1982. The fight appeared to be on track to become a legendary battle from the opening round, as both fighters relentlessly trading punishing blows. Towards the end of the third round, Kim landed some powerful right hooks, and Mancini retaliated with body shots. The round ended with Kim pushing Mancini back almost like a child. Kim celebrated, showing that he could handle Mancini's best punches. Mancini returned to his corner with a torn open left ear and a swollen eye. His left hand was also in bad shape, swollen and throbbing in pain. A weaker fighter might have given up at this point, but Mancini didn't. As the fight progressed, a pattern emerged. Mancini would dominate the beginning of a round, but then Kim would hit back with punches to the stomach and straight lefts. They would catch their breath, bleed, and lean on each other, creating an intense closeness that felt like they were brothers in battle. However, in the later rounds, Mancini started to dominate. Landing more punches, in the 11th round, he nearly brought Kim to his knees. By the 12th round, it was obvious that a tiring Kim was now being exploited by his opponent. Although unrelenting, he fought on bravely. Prior to this match, Kim had never endured a boxing bout lasting beyond 12 rounds, and his fatigue was increasingly evident. Following the bell signaling the start of the 13th round, Mancini immediately launched an aggressive assault on his opponent. Kim found himself on the defensive as Mancini landed 44 punches in a row, only stopping when his opponent managed to grab a hold of him. After breaking free, Ray landed more punches, mostly to Duck Koo's body. It took 79 seconds into the 13th round before Duck Koo threw his first punch. When the 14th round began, Ray charged across the ring. He moved to the right and surprised Kim with a left hook, followed by a solid straight right. Kim was knocked back as if he was hit by an explosion. The South Korean hit the ropes, his head hitting the canvas. He managed to turn over and grab onto the ropes, pulling himself up, but it was chasing a lost cause. The referee, Richard Green, quickly stepped in. 19 seconds to the 14th round, the fight was over. Minutes after the fight ended, Kim collapsed into a coma and was carried out of the Caesars Palace Arena on a stretcher. At the hospital, doctors discovered he had a subdural hematoma with 100 milliliters of blood in his skull. Even with 2.5 hours of surgery, there was no saving him. Kim died 5 days later on November 18th. Kim had gone into the bout with a win or die trying mentality. Just days before the fight, he wrote "Live or Die" on the lampshade in his Las Vegas hotel room. The aftermath of the fight left a trail of devastation and tragedy. Kim's mother made the long journey from South Korea to Las Vegas to be by her son's side before his life support was turned off. Overwhelmed by grief and sadness over the loss of her 23-year-old son, she tragically ended her own life 3 months later by drinking a bottle of pesticide. It didn't end there. Richard Green, the referee for the bout, took his own life with a gunshot wound on July 1st, 1983. For Ray Mancini, the fight changed his life forever as he struggled to come to terms with what had happened. He plunged into a deep depression, and the internal turmoil made him question if he could continue his boxing career. After 3 months of soul-searching, he returned to the ring in Italy, winning a 10-round decision over George Feeney. However, he was not the same aggressive Mancini, as he was hesitant to go for the knockout. After the fight with Duck Koo Kim, Mancini fought 8 more times over the next decade. Initially, he saw success winning his first 4 bouts, but the later part of his career went completely off the rails as he lost his WBA lightweight title in his last 4 bouts. His third and final retirement came in 1992 at the young age of 31. Mancini later said of Kim, "He died once, and I felt like I was dying every day." When you're a fighter, you develop a deep respect for your opponent, and I had all the respect in the world for this guy. I just wanted to win the fight. I never wanted to see him hurt. It was devastating. In response to the tragic events, the Nevada State Athletic Commission proposed several rule changes. Fights were limited to a maximum of 12 rounds, and the standing 8 count was introduced as a referee judgment call. But perhaps the most critical changes were in pre-fight medical examinations. Prior to the Kim Mancini fight, checks were basic, but now boxers undergo extensive scans, including MRI brain scans, electrocardio programs, and lung tests. Weigh-in procedures were also adjusted to prevent extreme measures like those taken by Kim before the fatal match. An event that changed boxing forever and a tragedy no one saw coming. The fight between Ray Mancini and Duck Koo Kim will always be remembered as one of those defining moments in boxing history.